When it comes to aftermarket parts for your car, some components are a little more important than others, meaning that you probably more than likely want to get it right the first time, and suspension is definitely one of those parts. We get questions all the time about aftermarket suspension, about the differences between one coilover versus another coilover, or whether or not we would recommend coilovers or air suspension for their car. So we wanted to make this video to help out anyone out there who is looking at picking up some aftermarket suspension for their car for the first time, to save you the heartbreak of having your parts show up and them not being exactly what you imagined. I'm Giles from Fitment Industries, and before we go ahead and get into it, don't forget to subscribe. And once you know all the things that you need to know about aftermarket suspension after watching this, go ahead and hop on over to fitmentindustries.com, where we have a ton of suspension options for pretty much any vehicle out there. The first thing that you're going to want to know or figure out is what type of suspension you are going to be going for, and to start weighing out your options. Basically, there are three main types of aftermarket suspension that you're going to be able to choose from, and that's lowering springs, coilovers, and air suspension. Now, lowering springs are going to be your most affordable option that will get your car lowered and still offer a decent ride quality. Lowering springs are great for someone who doesn't really want to ditch their entire OEM suspension or really start messing with all that kind of stuff, but still want a lowered look, not break the bank, and they don't want to sacrifice any drivability of the car. As typically we see lowering springs lower the car right around just a few inches or so, depending on the spring brand. And we tend to see a lot of newer cars get the lowering spring treatment versus a coilover, since there are a lot of new cars on the market that come with an active suspension where you're able to change the driving mode of the car, which either stiffens or softens the suspension. And by swapping out the entire OEM suspension, you in turn also ditch those features. Now, coilovers would be the next step up from there, I guess you could say, as they offer a lot more adjustability and features versus a lowering spring. With a coilover system, you're able to adjust not only the ride height, but also the amount of damping and sometimes even camber if you get the adjustable camber plates up front. They are typically the go-to suspension choice for anyone who's looking to dial in their suspension for what they are looking for, and they are a great choice for both performance and looks. And then we get to our third option, which is air suspension. Now, as you could have probably guessed, air suspension is going to be the most expensive option here out of the three, as there's just a lot more that goes into an air suspension setup. An air suspension system consists of 4 replacement struts with an airbag in replacement of a coilover spring. An air management system, which includes an air compressor, a tank, valves, air lines, and an ECU to control the whole thing, controls the amount of pressure in each bag, in turn determining your car's ride height. Now, air suspension offers a feature that no other suspension option does, and that is being able to actively adjust your car's ride height and the ability to basically lay frame when parked and then be able to get over the speed bump when leaving the parking lot. So like I said, the first thing that you're going to want to do is decide which route you're going to be going for with your car. And once you have that figured out, the next thing you're going to want to do is start to understand the brands and the differences between not only the brands, but the differences in their lines of suspension that each of them offer. And this generally is going to be majorly controlled by what your price range is. And this is where it can get a little bit tricky, and one of the places where we tend to get most of our questions. One thing you definitely don't want to do is underpay for your suspension and end up with a kit that doesn't ride well and doesn't last. Suspension is a major factor into how your car feels. However, at the same time, it's important that you don't overpay either. And you're probably wondering, what do I mean by that? Well, let's take a step back here and look at it for a minute. Remember when I said it's important to know the brands and their lines of suspension? Well, that's because if we look at companies like Tailor or BC Racing, for example, they offer plenty of coilover options that range from your entry-level enthusiast to someone who spends every day and night on the track. And that is shown in the price, so you can see it. Now, typically you would think the more expensive the coilover, the better it is, and you would want to go for that. And while that's technically true, it might not be the best option for you. A suspension brand will create different lines of coilovers for different purposes. BC Racing does this extremely well. With their most affordable coilover being the BR series, coming at right around $1,000 to $1,100, they offer everything that a regular enthusiast like you and myself would need and expect out of a coilover. But when you compare that to, let's say, their ZR series, which is quite a bit bit more expensive to say the least. While it does offer a lot more adjustability and technology with it, it's not something a regular enthusiast would ever need. These types of coilovers are meant for one thing and one thing only, and that is to be pushed to their absolute limits on the track, and they are meant to be extremely adjustable and tunable so the driver can get their car extremely dialed in just the way that they want. And this also ties into being mindful of different brands that are on the market. The biggest thing here is you get what you pay for. If you're paying $400 for a set of coilovers, I wouldn't expect to be blown away by their quality or performance. A lot of feature of coilovers is that a lot of companies allow you to get customizable with them. Companies like BC Racing, Fortunato, and even Silver Suspension offer the option to select different spring rates and custom valving. Now this comes in real handy if you're looking to have your cars set at a really low ride height. Usually the lower the car and the tighter the fitment you're going to go with, you're going to want a higher spring rate. Now this will make the suspension stiffer as the spring takes more pressure to compress, which causes suspension to travel less through normal use. Meaning that with really high spring rate, correct valving and all that sort of stuff, you can achieve a really tight slam fitment without bashing your wheel into the fender. Now this is going to require a little bit of research if that is the route that you're looking to go. The good news is, however, that a lot of these companies have a calculator that they use for different vehicles to help you determine what you should go with for your spring rate. And if they don't have the exact number for you that you want to do to your stance car, well, they can at least give you a good baseline to start off. And then the last tip we have for today is to take some time and watch some reviews and even installation videos of said suspension. This will give you a first-hand look into what other people's experiences with certain suspension options. By watching installation videos, you might find that you may need additional parts like sway bar end links or lower control arms to help dial in your fitting because the car is going to be too low and the wheels that you have aren't going to fit anymore. Obviously, YouTube is a great resource for that, and we even have plenty of videos of our own talking about different suspension brands and even installation videos as well. And if you want to see what certain suspension options would look like on your car, we also have a massive Fitment Gallery over at fitmentindustries.com where you can see exactly what certain cars look like on different suspension setups. It's not only a fantastic tool for wheels and tires, but suspension as well. So there you have it. Hopefully this helps you out on your journey to pick up some new suspension for your car. And like I said, feel free to check out all the other videos that we have as well over on our channel and our Fitment Industries Garage channel. Of course, check out what we have available over at fitmentindustries.com for suspension options and all that sort of good stuff. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm Gels. We'll see you later. Peace.